KCC311 week number 5's assignment. We need to compare quantitative data. How do we do that? With some percentages. In particular, where do the percentages come from? Well, that good old McDonald's and population data. Now, the McDonald's data, you should have had a table something like this in week number 4. Your numbers might be different because your regions might be different. But this should have come in your week 4 assignment. Now, this population chart, that should have come from your week 5 assignment. We talked about sum if earlier in this earlier in the videos for this week. Either way, if I compare these directly, so for instance, if I said in the South, I said for McDonald's, there are, and I could look up here, in the South there are 3,972 McDonald's. So I could type that in, 3,972. And in the South, the population is 82,883,735. Okay, I could type that in here and say 82,883,735. Now, I've got numbers. Oh, by the way, if Excel ever shoots out numbers like this, it just means that number's too big. So I need to make my cell bigger, make my box bigger, and then it'll fit the number. Okay, either way, I have quantitative data for the southern U.S. I have how many McDonald's? I have the population. I could highlight those. I could go up to Insert, and I'm doing this in Excel. Google Sheets, everything will be more or less similar. I could click Column. I make a column chart. And it looks like this. It says the population is really big and there's no McDonald's. How come you cannot compare this? This is in the millions. McDonald's is in the thousands. Thousands just are not going to show up because we're comparing apples to oranges. Really, really, really big to big, but not big enough. It's not going to show up. So what do I need to do? I need to turn these numbers here into percentages. So watch what I'm going to do. South, and this is going to be the percentage. And if you want to get really technical, and you should because, you know, as a college student, you want to be real detailed in what you're writing. You want to say percentage of total U.S. So what I'm going to say is, of that 3,972, what percentage of that is of the total USA? So we need to do a little bit of work. First thing we need to do is we need to find the totals. How many McDonald's are in the entire U.S.? Highlight all of these numbers here. If you have it in a nice, neat table. If the numbers are sort of scattered everywhere, it might be a little more difficult. But if these are nice and neat, highlight all the McDonald's and go up top on Excel and you'll see this little auto sum button. If you're in Google Sheets, I'll show you another way to do it. So I hit auto sum and it tells me there's 14,170 McDonald's across the entire U.S. Okay, great. If you're in Google Sheets, and this works in Excel as well, you can, at the bottom of this chart here, hit equals, type the word sum, double click, and that parenthesis means tell me the numbers. I say, I want those numbers. I hit close the parenthesis and hit enter and get the same number. So Excel, you get this auto sum. On Google Sheets, equals sum parentheses, highlight the data, I hit enter. Total amount of McDonald's in the U.S. Hey, let's do it with the population. Equals sum parenthesis, I highlight all of these. Let's find out how many people in total are in the U.S. 323 million and change. Okay. Now that I have totals, I can go and find percentages. Percentages are dividing. Part divide by whole. And I know everybody here has seen that formula sometime, and I know a lot of people, and I understand the instinct, kind of repress some of those math formulas. But at its heart, percentages is a simple formula. Part divided by whole. And you do need to use, and I'm emphasizing because you need to use that for the comprehension check for week number 5. Part divided by whole. So if I'm talking about McDonald's in the South, what is my part? My part is 3,972. What's the whole? The entire U.S. I need to divide those two numbers. All right, you can do that in pocket calculator and get an answer. That's fine. I'm going to do it right in the spreadsheet. Hit equals. I don't need a formula. I just got to click the numbers. I'm looking at the McDonald's in the southern U.S. divided by the McDonald's in the entire USA. Once again, part, my region, divide by the whole amount of the U.S. And I get that number. That's a decimal. Looks a little odd. Up top here, you will see these little buttons here. If it's a money number, you can click that, but we're dealing with percents. I click that. Nope, I got to get it on top. Got to get the number there and then click that. It says 28%. I can actually add some decimals if you want to get real, real precise. Population. I don't want the population of the South. I want the percentage. Percentage is equal. Part divided by the entire U.S. I get an answer, 26%. So there's more McDonald's in percentages than there is population in the southern USA. I'll let you figure out what that means. The math, obviously I can help you break down those formulas. But what does it mean? That's what all of you thinking in terms of business or in terms of data-driven decisions, that's what you should be thinking about. Say, wait, there's more McDonald's than there are population. What does that mean? Is that market share? Is that an opportunity for growth? Is that too many McDonald's? I'm going to let you make those decisions. But mathematically, what do you need to break down? You need to find the data from week 4, the data from week 5. You need to find sums, and either you can use the auto sum here or equals sum. You can use the auto sum up here, or you can do equals sum, highlight the numbers, and you get the totals. And then over here, you need to find percentages for both McDonald's and population. What's the McDonald's percentage? Equals part divide by whole. What's the population? Equals part divide by whole. There we go. And then those numbers, you should be able to make some analysis. Everything I'm breaking down right here is going to show up in your comprehension check, and it's also going to be relevant for the week number 5, the second part of the assignment, where you need to do an analysis like this and tie it together in a graphic. But for basics right now, if you have 2 sets of quantitative data, you need to find totals, and then you need to find percents. Oh, and the last thing, I forgot. Once you have these percents, you can highlight them. You can go up to insert, and you can go to make one of those column charts, and now this graph looks a lot more relevant. The other one of the graphs was completely missing. Now it looks a lot more relevant. I can say, okay, this one is a little higher than that. Of course, you want to label these numbers down here. So in order to do that, we need to highlight the entire information. Insert, boom, there we go. The McDonald's is higher than the population, and like I said, all of you thinking as data-driven professionals should be able to interpret that. Say, wow, there's more McDonald's than there's population. That means you fill in the blank. Okay, that's a lot of formulas. That is a lot of graph. That is a lot of percentage. There's a lot in week 5. But if you do have questions, please reach out via email, and hopefully we can set them straight.